You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. Without you guys, we certainly couldn't do this show. For 16 years, we bring you the smartest people, the CEOs, the billionaires, the White House presidential advisors, the Pulitzer Prize winners, the great authors, the great minds, the people who bring their stories of life and help you improve the quality of your life. And without the Chris Voss Show, I mean, your life would never improve. So there's that. Anyway, we have an amazing author on the show with us today. Elizabeth Jane will be joining us. She is the author of her new book that came out October 2023. It's called Free and First, Unlocking Your Ultimate Life. And she'll be talking to us about how you too can unlock your ultimate life and how she did hers. Elizabeth is an Australian artist, author, and public speaker. She uses a selection of painting media in her art, including acrylic oil and watercolor. Digital and canvas versions of her art are available through purchase through her website. And her debut book, Free and First, was written as part of her healing process following her divorce, which ended a 25-year marriage. She aims to develop wellness centers and healing sanctuaries focused on helping people to recover from relationship breakdowns and other life issues. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Yes, well, you can jump on my website, elizabethjane.com.au. It's very easy. We need AU for Australia.
Australia, the great down under, as it were.
Yes.
Koala bears and Vegemite.
Yes.
And you come from a land down under. Men at work. There you go.
I'm actually painting koalas as we speak.
Oh, really? Wow. They're beautiful little creatures.
Children's book with koalas, kookaburras.
Those things are cute as a button. So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your new book, Free and First?
Okay, so my book is really, when I went through my divorce, I was looking for a toolkit, Chris, because I didn't really expect, it was an unexpected divorce, and I found it was so traumatic, and I started to look out in the world for tools to get me out of the mess that I was in. Mm-hmm. And I started journaling, and so the book organically grew from my experience and the experiences that I had in the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. And so it's a book that can actually, I didn't want to make a too profuse. I didn't want to make a book that was too profuse, because if people are going through a challenge, that's the last thing that they want is a book that's really difficult to get into. So it's got tools and tips to help you step more gracefully through any challenge, and whether that be relationship based, financial, or health based, and it's ready to use tools, and yes, it's hopefully it's helping people around the world to get through the messy stuff. You know, life can be messy, and it's short, isn't it, Chris? You know, we want to have a fun time, we want to have a good time, we want to feel good. So I thought this book was just paramount for me to get it out. Did it for my children, my friends, and humanity. You know, I want to get it around the world to help people.
Well, these are the things we love in the Chris Voss Show. Stories are the owner's manual to life, I always say. And that's how we learn from each other. That's how we learn how to navigate life. That's how we find out we're not alone in some of the problems that we have, which make it easier for us to find people that have the tools that we can do to overcome some of the cathartic times and moments in life. And certainly a very cathartic time is usually a divorce. It's usually the death of an idea, a concept, a love, something you believed in, something you maybe thought you were going to spend the rest of your life in. And that vehicle, ends, and the road ends, and you go your separate ways. And so it's hard for people. It's almost, people that I've met that go through divorce, and 2 or 3 years after, it's almost like grieving the death of something. And so they have to go through the grieving process, and then from there, they usually, their identity for, in your case, 25 years has been the marriage and working together towards that partnership. And when that death happens, they find themselves that they're alone. And so they have to rebuild, after they go through the grieving process, a new identity of who they are. And so it's quite the journey. Tell us a little bit about your growing up. I mean, I would imagine sometime during your process of being married, you became this great artist, and you were working on your art and different things. Tell us about, what influenced you maybe from childhood to get into art, become an artist, and then how did that develop, and how did you develop through your art, through your marriage, and then ultimately the end of it?
Yes, well, it's interesting because growing up, I was always out to please everyone. I was the eldest daughter, eldest child, and I was pleasing my parents, pleasing a perfectionist, pleasing my parents, pleasing my teachers, and later went on. I was in that people-pleasing category. And at school, my parents said, no, you can't do art. You can't do drama. That's, that's a soft subject. You have to get into the maths, the physics, and the chemistry. So Chris, my journey was, I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a liquidator, a chartered accountant. I held that role. But as soon as I became chartered, I gave my parents a certificate and said, well, you can put that on the wall. And next, I did primary school teaching, which was more into what I felt I was heading the right direction, because I loved uplifting people and helping people. And so I enjoyed that for a while. But it was the trauma of the divorce that actually set me onto the swing of the writing, poetry and books, and the illustrations and paintings. So
there you go. So I've looked over your website and seen your various paintings and drawings. So none of this started until you got divorced?
Exactly.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
So
yes.
you used art to kind of help you navigate the divorce and finding yourself again then.
Yes. So one of my tools is that art, anything creative, I believe, can be a therapeutic and help people with whatever trauma they've experienced, whether that's through divorce or whatever form it comes in. Because when you're spending time in pursuing a hobby or something creative, your mind is focused in the present. And that's when I believe we heal, because our mind can be very busy, Chris. It's research tells me we've got 60,000 thoughts a day, and we make up to 30,000 decisions. Obviously, our choices are 30,000. They're unconscious. We don't really know, but whether it's choosing almond milk or cow's milk on our cereal. There's so many decisions we make, but if we're not aware of them, and so when we're thinking in the past or the future, we lose. They're not really real. Like we can be in the future, we can be catastrophizing about things that may happen, and in the past, we're often I found myself, often going into the blame and the shame and the regret of, in the early days, really going into the drama, and it just made me feel worse. So the writing and the painting kept me in the present and stopped me how I think I say in my book, my monkey mind going into the past, which just pulled me down into a really bad place, because I'd be going, oh, what could I have done to make the marriage work? How did this happen? What I must have done something wrong. It's always, I went into blaming myself, shaming, and all the emotions, but they weren't very helpful emotions.
Yeah.
So yes. So
and there's a lot of emotions that are going through that. And so it's beautiful that you found an art, you found a way to focus on the beauty of life, the journey of life, and different things. What were some of the things that you talk about in the book, and maybe advice that you give to people in some of the challenges that you overcome? Do you have some examples you'd like to share?
Yes. In the beginning, I can remember, my well-meaning teachers and counselors that just had come out and say, well, what's my homework? I've had my session, and, what's my homework? And they would say simply, follow your joy. And I think in the early days, when you're really in a traumatic state, 10 minutes of following something that you enjoy is I believe paramount to get through the day, or to get through that hour, or to get through when you're really in the trauma. But then as I explored, and a few months in, I'd say, well, what's my homework now? I've been following my joy, and I've taken up painting, and I'm writing, and okay, well, your homework is to do nothing. Well, I didn't like that, because I didn't like that at all. Because I like to be busy, because I'm thinking I'm being productive, I'm being worthy, I don't want to waste my time or other people's time. But that was the biggest, most powerful thing she could have said, because when we have time, we're all busy. Everyone's busy. Everyone's busy with work, busy with family. We're all, as I sometimes say, in the hamster wheel. We're going round and round the hamster wheel. But if we can take a break out of the hamster wheel, that is when we can be left to feel how we feel. And Charlie Chapman's quoted in my book. He's quoted, the problem with humanity is we think too much and we feel too little.
Oh.
And so we have to stop. So we stop, then we feel how we feel, and then the ABC of me is A, acknowledge, accept, allow how we feel. So we have to stop to feel, and then B is boundaries, putting boundaries in place, and C is the communication of our boundaries. And then with those tools, the ABC of me, A, acknowledging how we feel, B, putting boundaries in place, and C, communicating those boundaries and standing up for what matters for us, we free ourselves, Chris. We free. But it's not as easy, because a lot of people go, oh, can't I just do C? Can't I just do, can't I just get there? It's a busy life, and I can't really be stopping, that's just not going to work for me. I can't just jump to the end, I'd love to be offering a quick fix pill. Wouldn't that be good?
That would be nice.
Well, I mean, there are quick fix pills, but they're not long-term solutions.
That's true. Think. And they kind of just give you escapism as opposed to dealing with your issue.
Yeah, the vodka bottle can only work so much, can't it? I mean, it's not I was really I'm looking for this book offers just strength and abundance in every area of your life, because as you actually speak, you go back into your authentic self, and you speak your truth, and you've got the tools to do it, then you free yourself, and your life really takes a turn for the better.
There you go. Yeah, it can make all the difference in the world. Now it says here in the book, I guess, your kids maybe turned you on to the art world. Is that true? They gave you a voucher or coupon or something?
It's funny how the universe works, Chris. I really think that I really do believe that the universe opens doors to things that are good for you and good for the planet and good for your mates, and it sometimes can cause a bit of friction where things have to move, like if things are just off track. And with the children, it was a Christmas present, and it was an invitation to go to a cork and canvas, have a drink with your girlfriends, and have a paint. There was an artist up the front, and we were all painting palm trees. And at the end of the class, my girlfriend said, "Oh, your palm tree is pretty good. I think you should enroll in a few painting lessons." And so that's what happened. In May 2019, the actual painting on the front cover of my book is my first painting, actually, Chris.
Oh, wow. That's the cover of the book, huh?
Yes. So that was in my painting class of 25 students. I was sort of, the teacher would brush past me and spur me on and tell me what to do. And I had two lessons doing oils, dark oils, and then went into acrylics on the top, and then a lacquer to finish, as well as text. So it just sort of I think it's just really when we don't really mind, we turn internal and we look at ourselves and we go, I'm just going to give it a go. I just plunged into painting. I didn't care what I looked like, what happened. The teacher had bought my canvases. The teacher had bought my paints because I had no idea. And I just let loose on the canvas. And I think that's the thing. I think we often get tied up with, is this the right way to do things? And I just decided I would just go for it.
There you go. Go for it, and let loose. And it looks like, I think art's a great way to be a vehicle for emotion, or conduit, maybe is a good word, for emotion, processing emotion, feeling emotion. A lot of people evoke emotion when they look at paintings and different things. Mm-hmm. So this is a way that you can certainly enjoy that and everything else. One thing I noticed too is in the book, I believe you mentioned you found gratitude when you went out of town and kind of isolated yourself, and you started to find gratitude, which was something that started helping you go through the changeover. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I think the emotions, the gratitude I think when we focus on gratitude, mm-hmm. I found that I was bringing in more things that I'd be grateful for, mm-hmm. whereas when I focused on what I didn't have, then it didn't assist me so much. So gratitude is a really big tool for lifting up into a higher vibe, a better mood, whatever we want to call it here. So gratitude is top of my list. And then also with the ABC of Me tool, letting go of the other emotions that plug us down. I'm drawing hot air balloons on a children's book at the moment where the koala's waving goodbye, all the emotions that need to pass on, like non-forgiveness, sadness, anger, and allowing more space for gratitude and joy, playing like a child, that 10 minutes a day of just going, hey, I'm just going to go and play hopscotch. I'm going to do something silly, something fun, do something. It really just lifts you, And so gratitude is, of course, for my 4 healthy children, which are, they're in their 20s now. And I'm really grateful to live in a country such as Australia, and be free to be me, with so many.
There you go. So the book is great, gives you easy tools and learnings from spiritual teachers. And now you mentioned too, you at one point lived in an Indian ashram.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, tell us a little bit about what that was like.
Yes. Well, it was divine timing to go.
Mhm.
It was, just before, it was in 2017 when the marriage started to crumble. Was my first visit, and I went directly back. I had 6 visits before the lockdown in March 2020. I got back to Australia in March 2020, and I went directly to the ashram. It's the ashram gave me, it's a bit like it immersed me in high energy, and it sort of helped to wash out, I believe, a lot of the darker emotions that I were holding on to, all the grief, the shock, the denial, the anger, all the emotions that were embedded within me, because and so it was really like I felt recharged each time I went. I felt recharged, like I'd been in like you go to a rainforest and you're under a waterfall, you feel energized. If you go down to the pub with your mates, you might not, the next day especially, you might not feel so energized. So it's really about immersing yourself in high vibrational energy, which really helped me at this traumatic time.
There you go. There you go. So you found a lot of different resources and to help you get through your time and everything else. A lot of different ways to go about that, and create a toolbox for people. That's just wonderful. Final thoughts as we go out and tell people where to pick up the book.
Yes. The best way is to jump on my website, elizabethjane.com.au, and just press the buy now button, and it'll be delivered to you wherever you are in the world. That's the best way.
There you go. There you go. So thank you very much for coming on. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs.
Yes. So it's elizabethjane.com.au, and if you go down, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram. On my Facebook, and both my social media, I post all the interviews that I'm doing around the world. They've all got different sort of themes, but they're all about lifting up into a better feel-good mode. And no matter what you're going through in your life, there's tools that you can take on straight away and get results.
There you go. So thank you much, Elizabeth, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, Ernest, for tuning in. Order the book wherever fine books are sold. It's called Free and First, Unlocking Your Ultimate Life. It came out in October and September, I think, on Amazon. It says here in America, 2023. You can get it wherever fine books are sold. Thanks for being here, everyone. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next time.